Hey, RetconRaider here. With special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. Including but not limited to Matthew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. As with our business down by the river complete, we head back to Dresden and start preparing for our next big adventure. And thankfully we do not have to walk back. Our teleporter's finally up, so there we go. Of course, we can only actually do that once every 24 hours, so we'll still want to plan our travels accordingly. We also pulled a fair chunk of resources from loot and plunder, so I figured we'd get our next batch of buildings started. And yeah, we're just going to do a bunch of stuff here. We'll get a laboratory going, since we can always use more spell points. We'll get a Hall of Glory set up, which is a very small but stacking discount on all mercenary units. We'll get the Mercenary Guild going, which will increase the number of mercenary units offered to us each week. Yeah, why not? We'll get the Pathfinder Society Lodge going too. We can afford it. And then a hospital. We'll get a hospital set up, and we'll probably start putting those in other non-combat outposts, since it does stack, and it'll give us more wiggle room on some of those tougher crusade battles. And I think that's enough for now. Most of the other buildings we can build are not all that great in our main settlement. That's mostly outpost stuff. But we will eventually want to get a military academy and Hall of Strategy going. No rush, though. We're not exactly hurting on the crusade front right now. Alright, let's go have our follow-up with Woljif. Oh, you know what? We're right near Lann, and we really should start working our way through his background dialogue. Yeah, we've got time to spare. We'll do like half of it. Hey, Vex. What brings you here? You know, Lann, we've been traveling together for a while now, and I just realized we've never really talked, have we? Why don't you tell me more about your people, the mongrels? Of course. What would you like to know? Well, I mean, what's it like, living your entire life underground? Oh. Lann gives you a broad smile. His smile is strange, as if it falters where his human features meet his animal ones. Well, imagine that in the entire world there's only a few hundred like you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere, nowhere to grow grain for bread or cotton and linen for cloth. Your neighbors are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae, and then eat you. And it's not that bad, because you can try to eat most of the things that are trying to eat you. Sometimes at the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with almost no risk at all. In the worst years, there's not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days. Lann shrugs. But life underground has its upsides, pun intended. There's no risk of losing the roof over your head. There's no bad weather. Not counting the earthquakes, of course. Right, yeah, of course. So you guys are really descended from the first Crusaders? I mean, more like demon spawn, aren't we? Sad but true. Without the demons, there would be no mongrels. It's the magic of the Worldwound that affected our ancestors and made their children the way we are. Like most in our tribe, Chief Saul fancies himself a descendant of the underground Crusaders, the ones our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. That angel came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us? Those were evil and dangerous times after the First Crusade. Hundreds of Crusaders began having children, and the babies were born with fangs and horns and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look. The Inquisitors sure didn't. So our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there, under the ground. They probably intended to find a cure for their children and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the Worldwound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Mongrel parents can only guess what their child will look like. Each of us is born with a new mutation, and many mutations are fatal. Lann stops, then goes on quietly. Down in the caves, we usually don't congratulate the family for the birth of a child until they turn at least 3. Most don't even get a name before that. There's no point. Oof. You know, it hasn't really been that long since the First Crusade. Shouldn't you know more about the people you descended from? Our lives are much shorter than most Uplanders. Up here, only a few generations passed, and many still live who remember old Sarkarus as it stood, untouched by the demons. Queen Galfrey, for example. But where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans. Much faster, and with much more devastating consequences. Few live past 40, and fewer still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from the deep are more effective killers than time. So for us, the story of the First Crusade is a legend that happened generations ago. There are no living witnesses. We have a tale of the wise and great ancestors who left us to stand guard in the catacombs. But in reality, I suspect they were desperate wretches who couldn't figure out how to dispel the demonic plague, and who were abandoned by their own kind. How would you even know how long ago that was? I mean, do you guys have a way to track time down there? Sure, every mongrel settlement has a big gong, which we treat like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and end. But this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every mongrel child is snuck up to the gong to strike it at the wrong time at least once, just out of pure mischief. Nothing could keep me away from it, not even the fact that I only have one ear, which means it would take double the punishment once I was caught. So sometimes the wrong strikes get mixed in with the right ones, and the tribe can find itself jumping up to greet the morning in the middle of the night. Interesting. So do all the tribes get along, or is there infighting? There were some skirmishes, and I've been forced to kill my kinfolk too. Lann speaks in a steady voice. Fights most often break out over food. We have laws in the cave, written and unwritten rules that we follow. We respect one another's right to live. But hunger, it can push a person over the edge. I've never, you can count on that, stolen someone else's kill. But I can understand those of my kin who tried. To hear your kids begging for food and not to be able to feed them is terrifying. He frowns and goes silent. I have noticed that you're the only member of your tribe who actually refers to your kind as mongrels. Why is that? Because all of Galarion calls us that? I don't see the point of all this hemming and hawing over what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead the charge against the name. No one's stopping them. But personally, I'm not going to pick a fight over something as unimportant as a name. Fair enough. All right. Thanks, Lann. This has been very, enlightening. No problem, Vex. It's nice to know my ramblings seem useful to somebody. Oh, Lann, so self-depreciating. Lann's an interesting character. I do miss having him in the party, but at the same time, you know, he does tend to kind of get lost, much as Social does, amongst the more eccentric and quirky party members. Hey, Woljif. You, said you wanted to talk in private? Here I am. Woljif tries to seem calm, but his tail is lashing nervously. I don't know how to word it so you don't just drag me straight to the Inquisitors. Woljif, buddy, you asked me to come talk to you. Woljif sighs heavily. Yeah, well, you got me there. But I don't know how to put it. This has never happened to me before. Bear with me. I'm not one to gush about my feelings, you know? And this is a hard thing to talk about. Woljif is still alert, but the motion of his tail slows. Fine. I still can't believe you took me back. No one has ever done anything like that for me before. So I guess I can trust you with some things. Not all of them, though. My shadow. Did I tell you it talks now? Well, it happened after I started carrying the Moon of the Abyss with me. And that's not the only thing that happened. It's been giving me strange dreams, like I'm falling inside some kind of crystal. I keep falling forever. Everything around me is shining, but dreams don't mean anything. I thought it was because the wound is near, but there's something else. Woljif stays silent for a while, building up his courage. Chief, I'm stronger. My fingers tingle any time I use magic now, like it's dying to come out. It wasn't like this before. I did some magic, but now it's like I can do some real damage, you know? This never happened before I took the moon. Woljif gives you a pleading look. Chief, I don't know what to do with these powers. What if they get stronger? I mean, I've always thought about what I'd do if I was suddenly rich and powerful. I'd show everyone my true worth, but I'm not ready for this. It's too much for a simple fellow like me. Yeah, this is my grandfather's inheritance, but why'd he leave it to me? Do you think he really wanted me to become stronger? So I could grab what the world owed me? As payment for all the kicks and blows? For all the mocking at the way I was born? What if it's a trap? Gotta say, Woljif, I feel like you're maybe overthinking this. I mean, look at me. I've got awesome new powers, too. They're probably from the Abyss, as near as I can tell. And yeah, it might all blow up in my face, get me killed or something. But I take it one day at a time. Enjoy the benefits while you can. Deal with the consequences, if and when you have to. No point in tying yourself in knots over what might happen. Woljif smiles condescendingly. I know a cautionary tale. The Golden Hands had a thug, a half-orc who'd bend coins and break bricks with his head for a dare. So once they asked him, can you lift a tower shield with your teeth? No hands? He tried it and all his teeth fell out. All of them, one by one, you know? Oof, teeth. So he lived on porridge until he kicked the bucket. Which happened because he couldn't lisp the password to the hideout, so they shot him with a crossbow on the spot. They figured it out later, and everyone felt bad about it. So, what I was saying... oh yeah, that's when I realized that even if you have great strength, you need to use your brain, too. And now if Vodiel gets to me again, I'll be ready. Thanks for understanding, Chief. I don't know what I'd do without you. Oh, I can answer that. Probably die. Gotta say, though, Woljif, I do have some concerns about all these demons that seem to be flocking towards you. I mean, nothing we can't handle, obviously, but it is peculiar. Woljif sighs heavily. You think I like it? If it was up to me, I would never have met them. This is how I see it. Eugeflus must be my grandfather, since they call me his spawn. Vodiel, that spiked ugly mug, came to try to collect some of the old demon's debt from me. I know how it goes. We have uncles for this in the family. Big thugs, but without the spikes, who go around beating money out of the late payers. The Hepsimira he's talking about must be like our sister Charisme, but for demons. And old Gramps crossed her somehow, and she just can't get over it. He probably stole the Moon of the Abyss from her. I don't know. But I would have. And the moon. Grandpa, you should have left me a note or something. Chief, I think he expected better of me than how I turned out in the end. He probably thought he'd have a smart grandkid who knew what the moon was for and what to do with it. But he got me. Woljif's tail drops sadly. So what if he was a demon? I don't want to let him down, you know? He believed in me, I guess. Just you and him, Chief. The only two people in the whole world who believe in me. That's why I have to figure this thing out. Careful there, Woljif. That almost feels like character growth. Don't worry, buddy. We'll figure this out. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go back to pretending I don't care about anything. Yeah, you do that, buddy. Alright, folks. I think that's it for conversations. Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll take care of selling our vendor trash and poke around town real quick, just to make sure there are no other events in the queue. And yeah, we'll hit the next major location. Be right back. We have returned. And after giving it some thought, I think we are going to head south towards Wintersun. It was either that or Grimwood. And I'd actually like to get an extra level or two under our belts before we try tackling that dragon. Plus, I may have an ulterior motive or two there, but I'll keep that to myself for now. Let's head on down. Why have I not killed these guys yet? They look like fairly easy targets. Right. Yeah, that one over there near Green Gates is the one I'm avoiding. I guess I've just never moved an army near Wintersun. Interesting. New day. Movement points reset, so we'll do some crusading. Oh, hey, look at that. Once more we have been called by the Council of Wardrobe. We'll check that out once we're done in Wintersun. Though it might be a while. This place, as I recall, is fairly sizable. Wow, really expected more of our guys to be fatigued. We've also got a new diplomacy meeting waiting for us once we get back to Dresden. So that's 2 events queued. Oh, make that 3. Apparently Darren also wishes to have words with us. I wonder what that's about. And there's another outpost expansion project as well. We've got a couple of those at this point. We should really get at least one of them going. Okay, let's get this relic project started. That'll let us build a belt that will further augment Ember's firepower. Which category are we not doing something with? Military. Ah, I see. It turns out we don't have any military projects pending, so I guess that's that. I think this is the next big project we'll save for. Oh, yeah, we've got 3 in the queue. We really need to get at least 1 going. Though we do also have that Kidnapper project pending. Agaboy's Assassins. I think we can knock these guys out real quick. Hi there. Goodbye. The enemy that the Crusaders ran into is not an ordinary horde of howling cultists and lesser demons, but a unit of deadly monsters skilled in battle. In the bitter combat that followed, Crusaders discovered how dangerous an enemy can be. Now, holed up in the soldiers' tents at night, they only talk of one thing: what new tricks to deploy in order to destroy really powerful demons. Really overselling the difficulty of that fight, but sure. Oh yeah, and we do not want to head further west just yet. We could probably take out some of these groups, but the chasm drakes are a problem. I remember them having ranged area attacks and high initiatives, so we'll need to bulk up our back lines before we risk facing them. I mean, we would still win. A fireball would get the job done. They would just wipe our entire back line before we actually got that far. We'll have the assassins fall back. We've got reinforcements moving in to bulk up their ranks. We need Shai's Shankers at Gloomy Gorge, ready to intercept the incoming demon army. They should be able to handle that. In fact, we might also send them after the group near Wintersun, the rank 5 enemy camp. We need to get some levels under Shai's belt. Still not sure if we're going to stick with Rangers or not. I might swap those out for the Marksmen in Shai's group. Rangers have better survivability, but Marksmen have tremendous damage output. I'll think on it. No rush. Okay, I think that's our crusade business done. Let's set up camp. I think we're good with the Curse Peel-Off. No shortage of supplies, +1 attack is pretty solid. Yeah. If we run into a bunch of difficult skill checks, then we'll just set up camp again and switch meal bonuses as needed.
So you're the fella, the gentleman who threw the party on the boats? I remember that. We had some fine fishing that night.
If by that, you mean that you thieflings plucked drunken aristocrats who had fallen overboard out of the water and stripped them of everything but their fillings, then I should think that was closer to seal hunting than fishing.
I do like those two together. They have an interesting dynamic. Alright, let's see here. Wintersun. A small village that somehow survived the demon invasion. It is surprisingly silent and peaceful, as though it lies in some remote rustic setting far from the front lines, and not in the middle of the Worldwound, surrounded by monsters. Sounds nice? Oh, that was quick. Alright, let's get a cursory glance here. Although the blight has consumed certain plants, some magic is protecting the area and preventing the decay from spreading. They set up a tower, so it feels like this was intended to be a long-term observation post. The camp is abandoned, but there are no signs of struggle anywhere. The tracks indicate that the Crusaders left willingly. Very intriguing. Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll get our buff set up and then we'll investigate further. Be right back. And we're back. With our confidence and capabilities thusly bolstered by layers of arcane ensorcelment, let us proceed. Ferocious Smilodon. That's cute. And what looks like a very dead horse. Well, this shouldn't be too difficult. We've taken a few of these things down in the past, and we've got a built-in bottleneck. We just got to keep them off our back lines. Ah, right. Improved evasion. Forgot about that. But we still tagged one.
I will resist!
Out of my sight!
Whoops. That's no good.
Cover me, all right?
Thank you, helpful. Very helpful. Also, you are now at 40%.
Retreat is not an option.
Okay, we're good. Nice. Let's get helpful patched, then we'll push on. Good enough. This horse clearly belonged to the missing Crusaders. Wow, so they did not get far before they ran into trouble. Hey, Kaiser. It is just one horse, though. No other bodies. It looks like the bear was killed using magic. And ice magic at that. That does seem peculiar. Yep. Blighted Treant. Just lumbering around. So what was he doing? He was just standing at the edge of the water, stomping his feet. That seems noteworthy. The writing in common reads, "So the young years may heed old wisdom. We hide it, scattered among many caches. Youth enjoys guessing and seeking." I guess we'll keep an eye out for caches. Which, you know, we generally do anyway, so not really much of a change in strategy. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is what the Blighted Treant was angry at. Perhaps it was unable to approach it. This does have the look of like a sacred object. Someone brings flowers to the statue regularly. Some bouquets are dry, others are a little wilted, and one is fresh. Signs of life. Someone is maintaining the shrine. The inscription in Hallit, the language of old Sarkarus, says, "May you be forever joyful, Lady of the Sun." Okay, not Pelura. It's definitely not Pelura, because Pelura was the goddess of the night. You know what? I feel slightly less welcome now. The mutilated body undoubtedly belongs to one of the missing Crusaders. His killers didn't even bother to strip him of his gear. The blood and charring almost conceal the heraldic symbols of the crusade on the dead man's armor, but they can still be made out. Interesting. Which would seem... Oh, hey. Okay. So there's clearly some sort of magic at work that is protecting Wintersun and the surrounding area from the corruption of the Worldwound. And there are clearly people here. Someone is maintaining the shrine. But Crusaders aren't welcome either. I found a rock. Fall back. Too awkward to engage from down here, so this should do.
Can we retreat already?
No. Oh, that's not bad.
Kneel before me.
We've also got what looks to be a cache. Too far. Yikes. Okay.
This one's mine.
Light hit on Zorm. Very nice.
We'll make things right.
So we do have demons here. Whatever's keeping the corruption out is not keeping demons out. Which could be what killed our scouts. Ooh. Ah. Orc double axe, useless to us. For a second there I had my hopes up and thought it might be a throwing axe. Sequence of Murder. +4 Orc double axe. Bonus damage if it lands consecutive hits with the head and tail. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that's just sales fodder.
Trivial.
Text in Hallet. When gazing at the stars, do not forget to look at what is right in front of you. Deep. Possibly a clue? I'll jot that down for future reference. Oh, hi. Evidence of ritual human sacrifice, always a good sign. Brazen Whip. Brazen Whip. While this item is active, all creatures summoned get 1 extra attack per round, but the wearer is under a slow spell. I've got to say, that doesn't sound like a great trade-off. But it is worth 5,000 gold, so obviously we're going to grab it. Hi. Spectre. Ranting Spectre. Indecipherably ranting Spectre. You know what? We'll just maybe put this back for now. We good? I mean, we'll obviously still take that on our way out, but probably best to minimize complications right now. Can we get a clear charge path? That is not where I want you.
Close ranks.
You know what? That works. I can work with this. Oh my goodness.
I will see to your demise.
Press the attack!
Cave. Side locations like that usually hide more difficult encounters. But we have to go all the way around to get up there, so I guess we'll check out the cave. Morveg! You scallywag, what are you up to? You see a young crusader from the ever-bright Crusaders. Commander, my name is Morveg. You might remember me? Or my mentor, Kjar? Thank the gods you're here. I need help. An old temple of Gorum is here, in this cave. I've come here for a weapon. A powerful weapon. It's a sword, and it's stored down there. Master Kjar would never agree to use it, that's why I came here without him. Believe me, this relic will be very useful in fighting demons. But I can't get it alone. I need your help. Is everything okay? You notice the young man's pale and sweating face, but his voice is firm. I'm all right, Commander. Don't worry about me. If you say so. So what's up with this weapon? It's called the Fang of Malice. It is a sword devoted to Gorum. A long time ago, in the times of Sarkarus, his shrine used to stand here. The Fang is the perfect weapon. With it, the Crusaders will be invincible. Well, that does sound impressive. I've got to ask, though, if it makes you invincible, then why do you need my help? There's a demon up ahead, a huge and horrible creature, who I could never defeat by myself. The beast gobbled up my guide in one go. Help me kill the monster. Word is that you know the power of nature and the secrets of the wilderness better than anyone. This land is not what it used to be, but I hope that its mysteries reveal themselves to you, just the same. Oh, nice. I think that's a reference to our class. Those are few and far between. I always appreciate that. And then your mythic power. Everything points to you being the hero everyone has been waiting for. Morveg's voice breaks. Yeah, I am pretty great, aren't I? So, Morveg, how'd you find out about this place anyway? The young man proudly juts out his chin. I am a Kelid. This place used to belong to my family. Or rather, my family took care of this shrine of Gorum. We were a clan of warriors. When we had to flee, we passed the memory of this shrine down through generations. Mothers would whisper to their babes the magic words to bring the lost relic back, so that those children wouldn't forget those words, even on their deathbed. Of course, I didn't know where exactly to look for the temple. I hired a guide. The demon finished him off in a split second, and I had to retreat in disgrace. Okay, well this does sound pretty promising, Morveg, but, I did tell Kiara I'd bring you back, if I found you. You willing to come back with me, if we do your thing? The young man looks at you stubbornly. Master Kiara doesn't understand me. I must fulfill my duty, but if you help me, then I will return to Dresden. A dark shadow passes over the young man's face. Okay, good. I'm glad we're in agreement then. I'm sorry, but I can't help you. I'm not strong enough for this fight. May Gorum bless you with his power. Morveg holds his talisman tightly, a straw wolf figure. He closes his eyes and begins to chant. Rormger, Bar, Todan Katar, Gorum, Yak. Same to you, I guess. Thanks. Alright, well we are pretty much out of time today, but let's push up, at least until we get visual on this thing. Oh, hey. Yet another, well, not a cache, just a stone. If you read all the admonitions, seek the reward in the heart of stone. Cryptic. But also something I will add to my notes. Heart of stone. We actually just passed a stone that was kind of heart-shaped, right near the entrance. I'll make note of that as well. I can hear you in there. I can hear you breathing. Oh, well, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. Alright, well, we are out of time. I have somewhere I need to be, so we'll hit the pause button for now. And then we'll pick up here next time, as we knock this guy down and see what's going on with Morveg. He very, very clearly has something he's not telling us. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
It is the simplest way to enrage the stuffy gatekeepers of high society.